So in this video, I want to talk about NIO stock. It's been kind of dropping recently. We're going to talk about that, and also some great news, of course. Firefly just completed its recent winter testing. We'll talk a bit about this, and also the ET9 orders are actually exploding. So let's start with the ET9 orders. Apparently, there has been over 3,000 plus locked-in orders for the ET9, which, mind you, is one of the very expensive cars, the most expensive car that NIO has ever tried to sell. And it is a Maybach competitor. So getting around 3,000 plus orders is pretty significant. And apparently about a third of it, 1,000, comes from Shanghai itself. And this is just the pre-order numbers, all right, locked in pre-order. So these guys are pretty much guaranteed to get their cars in March, very, very soon. And of course, as time progresses, you do need to give people time to test drive the car, and then they can make up their minds. And a lot of bosses, some people, when they buy the car, they even send their driver to test drive the car. The boss, it's so busy, he just lets the driver test drive, and if it's good, they buy the car because they're not short of money. Those bosses are bosses. So definitely over time, as more people test drive the car, they're going to realize that it's worth the money. So that's definitely very, very good news. Now, Firefly winter testing, very, very nice. They just released this promotional video here in China, of course, showcasing the capabilities of Firefly. And it's basically driving in negative 30-degree weather on snow, and it's able to drift, it's able to charge properly, it's able to do all that kind of great stuff. And it actually looks pretty nice in these videos. And the design, definitely very controversial, but it is something that, I think it looks better and better. The more you look at it, the more appealing it gets. And definitely, I mean, this is going to be one of the best small cars that a consumer can buy because of all the, it's designed in Germany. It has all the tech features, engineering marvel of Germany. So this is going to be a fantastic vehicle going forward. So of course, now we've finished the news, we got to talk about the stock. The stock is bleeding down. What are the possible reasons why this is happening? It's mostly due with investor pessimism, all right? People are not they're too short-sighted, all right? They don't really see the full potential of NIO, and they really believe that there's going to be more trouble ahead for the company, despite record monthly deliveries. And we expected maybe, with that great news, we might have some reaction in the stock price. And I know a lot of you guys are disappointed. I am disappointed too. But the fact of the matter is, some people think that the Model Y is going to have a very big dent on NIO's sales, NIO and Envo's sales going forward, and that is a valid concern. But I've outlined in my previous video that the competitive advantage of Envo is still there. Cheaper price with battery swap upgradability, and overall, it's got everything the Model Y has, right? And plus that, better service, right? And even better ride safety and also ride comfort. So it's got everything going for it. There's no reason that Model Y should totally dominate Envo. Okay, sure, Model Y is probably still going to sell more than Envo because it's more well known. More people know about Tesla than people know about Envo. But gradually over time, as people test drive both cars, I'm sure they'll make the right choice and pick the Envo L60. But investors don't share the same optimism that I have, okay? So that's partially one of the reasons the stock is, kind of going down. But then the other reason is, of course, some people are not very bullish with the future of Firefly. And this is also apparent here in China as well. These Firefly videos shared online here in China, a lot of the comments have the same comment. The comment is that right now the compatible swap stations is zero compatible swap stations with the Firefly car, and they need to build these swap stations out, and that's going to be, of course, a new stream of cash burn that NIO has to fork out. And of course, if you look at it from a very shallow perspective, okay, yes, but you're not looking deeper. If you look deeper, you understand that now with battery swap, a lot of the money doesn't come from NIO, right? The money for battery swap stations actually comes from outside investors. Earlier in 2024, they launched this franchising model back in the summer of 2024, right, where investors can put their money to work, basically earn a fixed income, and that money is going to be used to build swap stations. So, in a sense, this argument that the Firefly is going to require more swap stations, it's going to be more expensive, it is valid to some extent, but not completely true, because the money isn't really, all of it isn't really coming from NIO. Okay, there will be some coming from NIO, but also majority of it will be coming from outside institutional investors and all these kind of private investors seeking a place to put their money to work. So that argument, I'm just going to debunk it. Okay, yes, it's going to take some time until swap stations get to a scale, and their strategy is, of course, at first it's a chargeable car, right? It's not just battery swap. It's going to be a great charging EV, small car with very good smart functions, and that in itself should be able to sell the car. And on top of that, as time progresses, you're going to get more and more swap stations. And I just saw that just today, Envo added 39 more compatible swap stations to their ecosystem. So some of them are from NIO, existing third-gen swap stations, renovated and fixed to accept Envo batteries. Some of them are just new stations. So you see, like Envo's network, even though it didn't completely start at zero, it's always still growing. The same thing applies for Firefly. Even though Firefly starts from zero, it's going to eventually grow. And people are too obsessed with the fact that it has to do battery swap. And battery swap stations, there are zero battery swap stations for Firefly. You got to get over this. And then the other pessimism, and this I guess originated from China. A lot of people have speculated that the reason they went ham with the incentives in December to boost sales is to look good in terms of like growth numbers for outside investors, whether it be these UAE guys or some other outside investors, so that there's more potential investment into NIO for further fundraising. And I can't completely disagree with this, right? Because obviously NIO is still making losses. NIO is still, in this kind of growth phase, right? They're expanding in so many different countries, growing new product lines, doubling sales. They're in a growth phase, so it's going to take some money to expand and grow. And that part of that may require some outside resources, right? Like money from the UAE and these guys. And that's absolutely a valid argument. And we could potentially see some more fundraising from NIO, whether it be like from the local Chinese government or outside UAE guys, or maybe some other third-party investor to inject cash into the company. But thinking about it objectively, NIO's technology and what NIO has, its chips, right? It's self-developed software, its battery swap patents, all this kind of stuff. It's the swap station itself. I think the swap station itself is worth more than the market cap of NIO itself right now. So in that sense, NIO is extremely undervalued, and definitely somebody will be willing to invest in NIO. And investors still seem to think that this company can go under, which I believe it's not a real possibility in my personal opinion. So that could be some of the reasons why NIO stock is kind of bleeding, so to speak. But I think as time progresses, sales double, we reach profitability in 2026, people are going to change their minds. But that's going to take some time, all right? As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.